Hello dear viewers, my name is Fardeen Nouri and I'm an immigration consultant in Germany. As you know, I explained for you in my previous video about the fact that how you can fill in the application for child benefit or Antrag auf Kindergeld. Today, I would like to explain for you how you can fill in the Anlage zum Antrag auf Kindergeld, which in English means attachment child to the application for child benefit. In fact, you fill in as an applicant the attachment child to the application for child benefit for each of your children for whom you apply child benefit. Because this attachment is filled in about each of your children, then you fill in about each of your children this attachment once and send it together with the filled in application for child benefit or Antrag auf Kindergeld to the Familienkasse. Okay, dear viewers, now I would like to explain for you how you can fill in this attachment. Here you write the last name and the first name of the applicant. Here you write the child benefit number or Kindergeld number of the child. For example, if another child of you already receives a child benefit and has a child benefit number, you can write it here. Or if you already receive child benefit for your child and you have a number for it, you write it here. Here you write the date from which date you want to apply child benefit for your child. If you think that your child has the right to receive child benefit from a date in the past, for example, from 1 month before or 2 months before, you can write the date here. Or, for example, if you think that your child has the right to receive child benefit from today, you write the date of today. If you have more than one child and you fill in this attachment for each of them separately, then you write the number of each child here. For example, for your first child, you write 01. For the second child, in the second attachment, you write 02. And in the third one, for the third child, you write 03. And so on. In part 1, you provide general information about your child. Here you write the tax number of your child in Germany. If he or she has already received this tax number, you must write it here. Here you write the last name or the family name of the child. If your child has a title, you write it here. Here you write his or her first name. Here the maiden name. Here the date of birth of this child. Here the place of birth of the child. Here the gender of the child. If it is a male, you write männlich or M. If it is a female, you write weiblich or we. Here you write his or her nationality. Here you write the address of the child if this address is different from the address of the applicant. If it is different from the address of the applicant, you write the name of the street and place, the house number, the postal code, the name of the city, and the name of the country of the child where he or she lives. And here you write the reason why the address of the child is different from the address of the applicant. For example, if he or she has an accommodation in another place of residence in Germany or abroad, or he or she lives with his or her grandparents in a foster home, or he or she lives somewhere else because of school or vocational training. Part 2 is about the child relationship, regardless of whether there is a joint household or joint family. In this part, the Familienkasse wants to know what a relationship this child has to the applicant, to the spouse of the applicant, or to the registered civil partner of the applicant, or to another person, for example, to the other parent. In this case, then you have to provide, or you should provide more information about it below. If the child is the biological child of the applicant, you mark here with a cross. If this child is the adopted child of the applicant, you mark here with a cross. And in this case, please attach the acceptance resolution about the adoption of the child and send it together with this form or this attachment to the Familienkasse. If this child is the foster child of the applicant, you mark here with a cross. If this child is the stepchild of the applicant, you mark here with a cross. And if this child is the grandchild of the applicant, you mark here with a cross. Similarly, if this child has a relationship with the spouse of the applicant or with the civil registered partner of the applicant, you mark one of these parts or one of these options. Or if this child has a relationship to another person or to another parent, you mark one of these options here. And in this part here, you provide more information about the other person with whom this child has a relationship. Here you write the last name of this other person, here the first name, here the date of birth of this person. Here you write his or her last known address, including his or her street name, house number, postal code, name of the city, and name of the country where he or she lives. Here you write his or her nationality, and here, if required, you provide some more information about this person. For example, if this person is dead or the paternity of the child has not been acknowledged yet by this person, and so on. In part 3, you provide information about an adult child or a child who is about to reach the age of 18. If it is not the case, you ignore this part 3 and go to the next part, to the part 4 here, and continue it from this part. Anyways, I provide information about part 3 for you as well, because there might be some people whose children are in these ages, and this information might be important for them. Here it says that whether you have attached the evidences or the proofs about the part 3.1 to part 3.3 with this attachment, or you have already sent them to the Familienkasse, or you want to send them later to the Familienkasse. About the adult child or the child who is about to reach the age of 18. In each of these cases, if you have attached these documents or these evidences, you mark here with a cross. If you have already sent these evidences to the Familienkasse, you mark here with a cross. If you send them later to the Familienkasse, you mark here with a cross. In part 3.1, you provide here the information about the fact that whether the child is attending the school or high school or university or doing a vocational training, you provide about the name of the field of the study or the name of the school or vocational training here. And here you write from which date to which date he is doing them or one of them. And in addition, you provide evidence or proof about it to the Familienkasse. For example, a certificate or a confirmation from the school that he or she is attending the school. And you mark here with a cross. But if he or she is doing none of these things I just mentioned for you, you do not write anything here and you do not mark here with a cross. If he or she is doing another training measures, for example, doing an internship or EU pair with language lessons, basic training, or voluntary military service, you write the name of it here and you write it here from which date to which date he is doing it. You should also send a proof about it to the Familienkasse, for example, a certificate from the internship, and you mark here with a cross. But if he or she is doing none of these things I just mentioned for you, you do not write anything in this part and you do not cross here, or you just draw a line on it. Similarly, in this part, if he or she is doing none of them, you draw a line on this part as well. If he or she cannot start or cannot continue his or her vocational training or his or her study because of the fact that he or she cannot find a vocational training place or a place to do his or her vocational training or to do his or her study, then you mark here with a cross. And in this case, you have to fill in the form named Bescheinigung für ein volljähriges Kind ohne Ausbildungs- oder Arbeitsplatz, or KG 11a, and send it together with this form to the Familienkasse. If he or she is doing one of the following voluntary services, you mark here with a cross. Freiwilliges soziales Jahr or freiwilliges ökologisches Jahr, Bundesfreiwilligendienst, Freiwilligentätigkeit im Rahmen des Europäischen Solidaritätskorps, or another services in a foreign country based on paragraph 5 of the Bundesfreiwilligendienstgesetz. Entwicklungspolitische Freiwilligendienst weltweit, Freiwilligendienst alle Generationen, internationalen Jugendfreiwilligendienst. Here you write from which date to which date he or she is doing this voluntary service, and you send an evidence or proof about one of these services he or she is doing. For example, a certificate or a confirmation from the place of work of him or her. Similar to the other parts, if he or she is providing none of these services, you do not have to mark here with a cross. You just leave this open and draw a line on it, like this. If he or she was or is in a transitional period of no more than 4 months, for example, between 2 training periods, you mark here with a cross, and here you write from which date to which date. If he or she was or is without any employment and is registered with a Agentur für Arbeit or employment agency or job center as someone who is searching or looking for a job, then you mark here with a cross and you write here from which date to which date. And in this case as well, you have to fill in and sign the Form Bescheinigung für ein volljähriges Kind ohne Ausbildungs- oder Arbeitsplatz KG 11a and send it together with this form to the Familienkasse. In part 3.2, you provide information about the employment of this child only if you have written something in part 3.1 about this child. If this child has already finished his or her vocational training or his or her study, or is going to complete or finish his or her vocational training or study very soon, you mark yeah or yes with a cross. If it is not the case, you mark 9 or no with a cross. Here you write the name of the vocational training or study he or she is doing with the field of study or the field of vocational training. Here you write the date in which this vocational training or this study is going to end. Here you write his or her career goal if it is different from the above mentioned qualification. If this child was or is employed or is going to be employed, you mark yeah or yes with a cross. If it is not the case, you mark 9 or no with a cross. Here you provide information about the type of the employment. If he or she is doing one or more than one marginal employments or small works, so-called mini job or mini jobs, you mark here with a cross, and here you write from which date to which date. If he or she is doing another type of the work or employment, you mark here with a cross, and here you write from which date to which date. Here you write the name of his or her employer with the address of his or her employer. If he or she has other employments as well, you provide information about it here, similar to the first one. And if he or she has more than 2 employments, you have to provide information in another paper or in a separate paper. And here you write how many hours per week he or she is doing the work or employment, or on how many hours there has been agreement between him and his employer that he or she is going to work per week. In part 3.3, you provide information about the fact that whether the child has a disability or not. If this child has a disability which has occurred before the age of 25, you mark yeah or yes with a cross. If it is not the case, you mark 9 or no with a cross. In part 4, it asks that whether you or someone else whose details are mentioned in part 2 has already received child benefit for this child or not. If it has been the case, then you mark yeah or yes with a cross and you provide information in the part below. If it has not been the case, you mark 9 or no with a cross. If you have marked yeah or yes with a cross, you write the last name and the first name of the applicant or another person who has received child benefit for this child. Here you write the date of the birth of this person. Here you write from which date to which date this person has received child benefit for this child. Here you write the name of the Familienkasse and the address of the Familienkasse from where he or she has received child benefit for this child. And here you write the child benefit number or Kindergeld number based on which this person has received child benefit for this child. In part 5, it has that whether you or the person whose details are mentioned in part 2 of this form to whom the child has a relationship has worked in the last 5 years before the application in the public service or not. If it is the case, then you mark yeah or yes with a cross. If it is not the case, you mark 9 or no with a cross. If so, is the employment carried out in a federal institution or not? If it has been carried out in a federal institution, you mark yeah or yes with a cross. If it has not been the case, you mark 9 or no with a cross. In part 6, it has said whether you or another person whose details are mentioned in part 2 of this form is received or had the right to receive in the last 5 years before the application or this application has been made, child benefit from outside Germany, from another country, or from an international or supranational institution or not. If it has been the case, you mark yeah or yes with a cross and provide more information about it below. If it has not been the case, you mark 9 or no with a cross. So if it has been the case, you write the last name and the first name of this person who has received the child benefit for this child here, the date of birth of this person here. Here you write the type of the benefit this person has received for this child. Here you write the amount of monthly benefit this person has received in euro. Here you write from which date to which date this person has received this benefit. Here you write the name of the office or institution which has provided this benefit and its address. And here you write its reference number. In part 7, it has that whether you or the person whose details are mentioned in part 2 of this form to whom the child has a relationship in the last 5 years before this application has been made, has been employed outside Germany as an employee or self-employed person or development worker or not. If it has been the case, you mark yeah or yes with a cross. If it has not been the case, you mark 9 or no with a cross. Or if you or this person has been employed in Germany at an office or institution of another state or as a member of the NATO armed forces, you mark yeah or yes with a cross. If it has not been the case, you mark 9 or no with a cross. Or if you or this person is an employee of an employer whose main office is outside Germany and you have been sent to Germany and you are working for this office or this organization in Germany, you mark yeah or yes with a cross. If it is not the case, you mark 9 or no with a cross. If you have marked yeah or yes in one of the above cases or more than one of the above cases, you should provide more information about them in this part here. You write the last name and the first name of this person who is employed here. Here you write from which date to which date you or this person has been employed. Here you write the name of the employer. Here you write the address of the employer. And here you write the name of the city and the name of the country where you or this person is employed. And in this part, you confirm that all the information you have provided in this form are true and right. And you know that if there are any changes in your living situation or the living situation of your child which can influence the child benefit, you will inform the Familienkasse about it as soon as possible. And you also confirm that you know about the content of the brochure or Merkblatt about the child benefit or Kindergeld, Merkblatt Kindergeld, which you can find under the website mentioned here. And this part is only about the safety of the information of the applicant and his or her child, and the information will be only used to check whether the applicant and his or her child has the right to receive child benefit or not. And this information will be kept by the Familienkasse for 6 years, or will be saved for 6 years, even after the end of the child benefit payment. And here you write the date on which you have filled in this form and you send it to the Familienkasse. And here, as an applicant, you have to sign. If you're a minor child or you're not able because of a disability to sign or to fill in this form, your legal representative should sign here. These options are only for those who have filled in this form online. So if they have filled in this form online, if they click on this option, all the information this person has filled in the above parts will be deleted. If this person clicks on this option, this form will be printed out, and if he or she clicks on this option, this form will be saved. Thanks a lot for watching my video. If you would like to get similar important information about the immigration laws in Germany, your rights and duties in German society, the living conditions in Germany, and other such important topics, please subscribe and follow our channel. If you have any questions or remarks about today's topic, you can write it under this video and I will be more than happy to answer it for you.